Hi, it's Mikexingchen. Nature, so beautiful, so wonderful, so deadly. The world is home to thousands of living organisms, from the smallest microbes to the largest sea creatures. Both tame and fierce, the diversity of wildlife on land and in the ocean is remarkable and has become the interest of many of us, as well as the subject of study of scientists. However, nature can also sometimes be deadly. It can catch you when you're not aware, with dire consequences. Vicious predators and deadly insects can pounce on us, but there is something even deadlier, something that sits quietly in the bushes or up trees. Plants. Yes, while they do add color and unbelievable beauty to the environment, some of these plants have developed a defense system of their own. Of course, they can't move or run away, at least I hope not, and that's why they have to resort to other methods to survive the wild, like their animal counterparts. So in this video, we're gonna count down the top deadliest plants in the world. Number 10, the manchineel. Native to the coastal regions of the Caribbean, the West Indies, and Central America, the manchineel is a fruit-bearing tree that was given the nickname Tree of Death, not because of some strange joke, but something much more ominous. The manchineel is extremely toxic and lethal. The sap produced by the tree, which oozes from its branches, leaves, bark, and even snapped off twigs, can cause severe skin irritation and burnt-like blisters. Even more deadly is that the sap can cause death if it enters an open wound and into the bloodstream. The fruit of the manchineel is quite deceptive. At first glance, it has the appearance of a small edible apple. However, ingesting the fruit will trigger a reaction to people's bodies similar to anaphylactic shock, where the throat begins to swell and completely blocks off air passageway. And if you try to kill the tree by burning it, well, that is not going to help you much either, because burning the tree also yields deadly results, as it can release toxins into the air that can cause irritations to the eyes and in some cases blindness. So yeah, just stay the heck away from this thing and don't even look at it. Number 9, the European ewe. As the name would suggest, this tree is most common in Europe and it's gross. No, just kidding. But it is very common in Europe, with species scattered about Northwest Africa and the Middle East. Almost all parts of this tree are poisonous except for the red fleshy arrow that surrounds its toxic seeds. A poison called taxanes is found in the tree's leaves and seeds that, when ingested, can kill a person or animal within a few hours. Normally, the symptoms one would experience after swallowing a yew leaf or seed are increased heart rates, labored breathing, and muscle spasms. However, what's even scarier about it is that most people do not even experience any of the symptoms and have the unfortunate experience of, kicking the bucket before any kind of medical aid could be administered. Number 8, the suicide tree. This beautiful ornament plant native to India and Southern Asia is called the suicide tree because it lures its unwitting victims into a false sense of security. Its white blossoming flowers produce a small fruit that resembles tiny mangoes. To the untrained eye, this looks like an appetizing invitation, but the fruit of the suicide tree is extremely toxic and contains a chemical called glyceride cerberin. This chemical acts as a steroid that can effectively block calcium ion channels in human beings. Diarrhea, vomiting, and cardiac distress are few of the symptoms a person can experience after eating a fruit from this tree, and a single fruit has enough toxins to kill an adult human being within a few hours. Number 7, the castor bean plant. Castor is a household name and brings to mind healthy and wholesome medical applications. Many people have sworn by the miracles of castor oil, and none of us would think that the plant itself could cause any kind of harm to us. Well, you'd be wrong. Castor oil is indeed quite useful and harmless to human beings. However, it is the beans from the castor plant that are lethal. Containing one of the most deadly and potent toxins on earth called ricin, castor beans release the toxin the moment they are ground to a pulp or chewed. Depending on the amount of ricin ingested, the castor bean can create different sets of life-threatening symptoms, from gastrointestinal inflammation to bloody diarrhea to decreased blood pressure. Even inhaling pulverized castor beans can cause pulmonary edema once the ricin kicks in. And if injected into the body, ricin can cause vomiting, followed by flu-like symptoms and organ failure. What's even more scary about ricin is that symptoms only appear several days after the ricin has been ingested, which makes it difficult to detect until it's too late. Number 7, the rosary pea. Found in Indonesia, the rosary pea gained its name as it was once used as beads for rosaries by missionaries. Also known as as crab's eye for its unique red and black coloration. It also has become naturalized in areas of the US when it was first introduced. Even though the plant and its flowers are mostly harmless, the pea hides a sinister secret. The peas are extremely toxic and lethal to humans, and it only takes as little as 0.00015% of the pea's toxins to kill an adult person. However, even though ingested, if the pea's skin is unbroken, it will simply pass through the digestive tract and expel out of the body. But it is when its skin is broken and the pea is self-exposed that it releases the toxin abrin. Abrin attacks the body in such a way that it prevents cells from protein synthesis. Without it, the cells break down and shut down the human body. A single peeled or punctured pea once ingested can cause extreme nausea and vomiting until it is followed by kidney, liver, and spleen shutting down, resulting in an unimaginably painful death. At present, there is no known antidote to combat the toxins of the rosary pea. The only available medications are those that alleviate the pain of the symptoms, but it does not inhibit the poison from destroying the body from the inside. Number 5, the doll's eye. If this plant's creepy appearance does not prevent you from eating it, then there's something wrong with you. Also known as white baneberry, the berries of the doll's eye plant is potent and lethal to living creatures. Loaded with cardiogenic toxins, ingesting its fruit can have immediate sedative effects on cardiac muscle tissues. The symptoms you can experience after ingesting a doll's eye berry include burning mouth and throat, excessive salivation, stomach cramps, diarrhea, and in some cases hallucinations. Eventually, if immediate medical attention is not given, a person will suffer cardiac arrest and die. Number 5, oleander. Nature has a way of making the deadliest things on this planet the most beautiful ones, and the oleander is no exception. Originally from Asia, the oleander has traveled to the Mediterranean and to the Americas, and has ever since been one of the most popular ornamental plants. However, despite its beauty, the oleander is one of the most poisonous plants from its flowers down to its nectar, and ingesting a sufficient dose of any part of the plant has deadly effects on the body and could cause diarrhea, vomiting, and irregular heartbeats. The thing is, what constitutes a sufficient dose is still up for debate since the plant contains several toxins. Some experts state that as little as 1 leaf could be deadly, while other sources point out that about 100 grams of any part of the plant is more than enough to kill a fully grown, not even adult, a horse. Fully grown horse. Number 3, hemlock. Hemlock is a plant that's popular in classic literature and history as an implement to poison or assassinate a person, and this plant also killed Socrates. Although there are very few highly poisonous varieties of the plant, the two most known for their deadly toxins are the North American water hemlock and the European poison hemlock, both of which are proven to be extremely lethal if eaten. The European variety of poison hemlock contains the toxin manchineel, which is known to kill from the outside as it slowly paralyzes a person's extremities and works inwards towards the lungs, causing death. An estimated dose of around 0.15 grams of the plant's toxins is said to be sufficient to kill a human adult. Across the Atlantic, on the other hand, the North American water hemlock contains a different set of toxins that include cicutoxin and cicunol, both having different effects on the human body. However, what is certain is that if ingested, the water hemlock's neurotoxins can cause violent tremors and convulsions that are always accompanied by pain, a far different effect from the calm and quiet effects of the European poison hemlock. And some that are fortunate enough to survive water hemlock poisoning may still deal with its long-term damage to the brains, including amnesia. Number 2, the stinging tree. Native to the forests of Australia and Indonesia, the stinging tree is the deadliest and most potent stinging nettle known to man. It's basically a poison ivy's bigger and badder cousin in the plant kingdom. Brushing up against any part of this plant can immediately result in painful stinging sensations. While the stinging tree is not deadly enough to kill a person, its toxins are extremely potent and painful, and the sensation can last for days or even months. And in some rare and recorded cases, the insane pain can last for years until it fully dissipates. And finally, number 1, the deadly nightshade. No plant can be much more obvious to its reputation than the deadly nightshade, with a name that sounds like some sort of femme fatale from a sci-fi movie. The deadly nightshade, like its cousins, the potato and the tomato, this plant, also known as belladonna, contains solanine, a glycoalkaloid poison. While it would take an entire truckload of tomatoes for the toxin to take effect, A single leaf of deadly nightshade is enough to induce convulsions, coma, and death. The main toxins presented in deadly nightshade are atropine, which is named after the Greek goddess Atropa, who cut the threads of life. It also contains hyoscyamine and scopolamine, toxins that are known to attack the body's nervous system by blocking neurotransmitters. There is no doubt that the plant is entirely toxic. The root is generally believed to be the most poisonous. Also, ingesting just around 2 to 5 berries borne by the plant is enough to kill an adult. So there you go, guys. Those are some of the most dangerous plants on this planet. So just as a rule, when you're in nature, just don't touch anything. And if you're lost somewhere in the woods and you get really hungry, just remember something. Hakuna Matata, do what the Lion King did and eat some worms. Worms might be slimy and gross, but it ain't gonna kill you or cause you pain for years. It might mess you up psychologically a little bit, but it's not gonna kill you. Alright guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you later.